All right, finally, here I am. We're starting the YouTube series. All of this is also going to be uploaded into an audio as a podcast. But we're going to be doing some serious editing because I don't have good camera equipment right now, but I do know how to screen record from my computer. There's a lot that I want to do on this channel, but I know I need to address why I have changed my views so much. And before I want to do my personal interests on here, I feel like the public needs to know the truth about what is going on with the far left and why so many people are segueing to going really far right and abandoning a lot of this stuff. So, who am I? My name is Renee Fico. I've been a long-time climate activist, public speaker, political commentator since 2018. I have a podcast that I started in 2021 when I drove across Canada and worked on organic farms in British Columbia. I eventually found myself over the course of the next 3 years planting thousands of trees a day, living in a one-man tent in the forest for 3 months, with limited access to the outside world and the evil technology and social media that infects people in their everyday lives. I'm also an experienced psychonaut who has seen many things and experienced many things on psychedelics, as well as pursuing a university-level education in climate change and natural resources. After the Trump election, my world was turned upside down, as the experiences I was having in my everyday life that seemed off, and my inability to question anything the left was saying because I was some privileged white person made me start to question things, especially since 2020. This series will be discussing what made me turn so far right and why I believe my generation is in big trouble and the far left is holding us hostage, and whoever else is running the show. Join me as we go through this journey of talking about real issues facing everyday people. First things that made me start to turn far right was the trans movement. Honestly, during COVID, I watched Pose, and I always knew that there was transgender people who existed in New York City, and I never really had a problem with those people. And as we can see, a lot of people go through a lot of trauma and stuff in their life, and a little boy who was sexually abused, maybe cutting his genitals off and becoming a woman is truly what he wants. But as this movement started to infect my everyday life, and I saw women that I played sports with wanting to chop their breasts off and basically shoving it down our throats, saying that if we didn't agree with it and we didn't support it, that we were a racist or a horrible person. Since COVID, I have experienced numerous people who are transgender, and they have been some of the most mentally ill, destructive people I have ever met. And the worst part about it is they really push that lifestyle onto other people, which made me feel like there was just something wrong. I didn't really care, and I just kind of ignored the issue. But now, since this has become a phenomenon that Big Pharma is exploiting with young people, some people have to start speaking out and whistleblowing this stuff. And I started to get interested in what was actually going on and why Jordan Peterson cared so much about it, and I started to look into this stuff. I've also seen what these genital surgeries look like after they're over. And if you saw photos or knew what these surgeries entailed and the sexual organs that people are left with, it is downright disturbing. But the other thing is, a lot of people who have an opinion on this aren't really adults yet, and I don't think they understand the importance of having functional genitals. I don't think people at the age of 16 to 18 who don't really have a lot of sexual experience yet, or people who don't really think about getting married or needing their genitals for procreation or to feed their child, I think it's really easy for them to denounce how dangerous this all is, and how I'm not going to get into it in this video, but now that I've become religious, I will downright say that a lot of priests who have performed exorcisms for people who thought that they were wrong in the wrong body will tell you that they genuinely believe that it is an evil spirit or a form of Satan that infects people's minds into believing they're born in the wrong body. But I just want to start with the detransitioners, because hearing their stories and what these people are going through and how they've been brainwashed was enough for me to finally say, I don't support this at all anymore. And I think that cutting someone's genitals off to make sure that they don't kill themselves should be the very, very, very last thing that people should be doing. And it should be a very, very rare thing. This is a mental illness, and there are a lot of other things that are not being addressed. And you will see from people who have transitioned admitting this on camera. So that is why it is very, very important that we watch the truth and we hear what these people have to say. All right, so I also want to say that a couple of the videos that I'm going to be making explaining this stuff, I want to give full credit to Amir Odom and Ariel Scarell. I can't pronounce her name. I'm going to be putting their videos and their links in the show notes. I can record their videos and post it online, but I don't want anybody to think that me explaining this stuff are my original ideas. These people did a lot of really good work to create these videos and like set them up in a way where they've gathered videos from TikTok and news articles, and they lay this problem out in like a way that you could, like, these two could be university professors giving lectures. They're both gay. So Amir is a black gay man and Ariel is a lesbian, and they're both adults. Amir is about 29 and Ariel seems like she's in her early 30s. So today we're going to be looking at Amir Odom and what he has to say about the detrans movement. All right, finally, this hermit has figured out the technology. It literally just took me an hour to figure out how to get my microphone on. Let's get into the video.
Got your mastectomy at 13.
A secret summer camp for transgender kids and their families.
The side effects were severe, are permanent, and started within days.
Detransitioners are not getting the attention that they deserve. If you're unfamiliar with a detransitioner, this is someone who was trans, who transitioned to another sex, and then they're now transitioning back. And they're saying, nope, that wasn't for me. I was misled, or I don't feel this way, or I regret that I did this in my body. And that's who we're going to talk about today, because more often than not, we're hearing from the LGBTQ community and the trans community, hooray, trans people, yes, support them, support trans youth.
All right, so as I mentioned before, I got curious about this because of the interview that Jordan Peterson did. So I want you guys to listen to Chloe, who is a detransitioner, and I want you to hear about this interview that she had with another person. Ready? Okay.
Yeah, they started me on Lupron, and then they put me on testosterone. You got your mastectomy at 13, just a few years after you started puberty. And that makes me upset personally. How do you feel about that? What's it like dealing with that?
It's very conflicting. But honestly, I'm very upset that it was done to me so young, and also not to mention in a headspace where I just shouldn't have been able to make those kind of decisions. You know, I actually had never seen like a diagram of like a breast and like the organ and like the lactation, like organs, like the glands and all that, until really recently I saw a diagram. They never showed anything like that to me, and they really watered it down and just called it top surgery, not a radical.
Not a double mastectomy.
Double mastectomy, what it was, right?
Flabbergasted.
I love Amir because Amir is so good at basically just like showing what he actually feels. But then let's go into Lupron now. So let's go into Lupron. So now we're going to talk about Lupron, but I'm also going to show you the interview from the medical professional who's talking about puberty blockers and what is a woman. And if this doesn't alarm you by now, I don't know what the fuck is going to.
Blood acetate is a drug that has been used as chemical castration treatment for sex offenders. Y'all giving sex offender drugs to children who are 12? not okay. One, to be giving 12-year-olds.
All right, so let's now go to Matt Walsh and what this psychopath says about the drugs. All right, so for the people who haven't still seen this, you can access it off of Rumble, but Matt Walsh is awesome, and this documentary came out in 2022. And if you were in my academic institution where people are promoting chopping breasts off, if you even told people to watch this movie, you would probably get kicked off your program or whatever for hate speech. But listen to what this psychotic physician says about the puberty blockers. I also want to include the interview of this one trans woman or trans man that's a woman that's literally saying this is not something that we should be doing to fucking little girls. Listen to what they say.
First time in history, a marginalized group has a huge dollar sign on the top of their head. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States promoting that.
What?
That's a phalloplasty. That's a bottom surgery. We have 5 children's hospitals in the United States telling girls that they can be boys at $70,000 a pop in a surgery that has a 67% complication rate. That will kill me from infection that I can't sue on. We're butchering a generation.
Do you hear what this adult is saying about this? A 67% complication rate. They're building a penis out of chopping your fucking arm off. And these people who are making these makeshift penises are ending up growing hair on the inside of their urethras. And this is what the medical professionals are telling people they should do.
Of children because nobody's willing to talk about anything. I have 3 kids. At the age that they're doing this to kids. I'm not transphobic. I love my kids, and I love other people's kids, and you should too. This is wrong on so many levels.
Okay, so he's going to go back and confront the lady about puberty blockers. You got to go watch this movie. You got to hear, look at her face right now when I pause. This lady is insane. And I hope you know these are the kind of people too doing Planned Parenthood, all these abortions. We're going to get into that in another episode, but hear how insane this lady sounds about fucking puberty blocker. If you saw the other parts of the interview that Matt Walsh did with this lady, he is so fucking good at making people realize there actually is an objective reality. There is objective reality and truth in this life. It's not all about our opinions and our experiences.
Ready for it. So that could be a kiddo who is just starting puberty and panicking because they're getting breast buds or their penis is getting bigger and busier and they're worried about all kinds of masculine changes. And that way, puberty blockers, which are completely reversible and don't have permanent effects, are wonderful.
Lies.
Because we can put that pause on puberty. It's like if you were listening to music, you put the pause on and we stop the blockers and puberty would go right back to where it was. The next note in the song just delayed that period of time.
You can just pause.
She's basically comparing your sexual development into an adult with pausing a song on Spotify. If this doesn't sound like these people who are promoting this transgender stuff are out of their fucking minds, I don't know what to fucking tell you. You can call me crazy. If you think she is all-knowing and has the truth, fine, I give up. I'm the crazy religious conspiracy Christian now, okay? Whatever. All right, let's go back to Amir showing how mentally insane this is all becoming. Just wait.
A special place where families from around the country can come together and just be. When Ryan was born male, right?
So this is a trans camp.
2 years old.
I didn't tell you guys this. So this is a trans camp that they're promoting for parents who want their children to be transgender.
We started noticing that Ryan liked, pink and sparkles.
we noticed he like this. Honestly, this is homophobic. Like, this is deeply homophobic, and it's misogynistic. It's so many different things, but it's like the legit kind. You notice your little boy likes pink and sparkles, and then you're like, yep, you're not a boy. Only girls do that, so you need to.
So now we're gonna chop his genitals off? You hear how this TQ plus stuff is actually eroding gayness. Just let's keep watching.
Transition into a girl instead of telling your kid, you want as a kid. The kid
just
likes
let the
colors.
kid likes what it yeah.
Just letting the kid be a kid.
All right, let's go to the next part of the video. So quite often, and even my friend was like, there's no such thing as transgender people causing problems. We're not friends anymore. And they're a part of this mentally insane LGBTQ stuff. I pray for you, and I hope you come back to yourself eventually. But a lot of people are saying this isn't a big problem. There's not a lot of detransitioners who are filing lawsuits against these pharmaceutical companies. Well, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong, and let's hear what this law firm has to say.
Interested to hear about your clients and the cases that you are taking. So, for example, how many detransitioners do you guys have right now? What are some of the, I know you can't share details, of course, but what are some of the kind of traits or characteristics of a typical client in your firm?
Our clients are so inspirational, and just the fact that we have them is, of course, a wonderful thing from the standpoint of this is the mission we're on. We're trying to help. People are coming forward, but it's a tragic thing that there are so many who are coming forward, and people we know who have yet to come forward, who have been harmed. And as I tell friends who ask, hey, Josh, I know you started a law firm. How's it going? My response is, sadly, it's going really well. We have spoken with, lots and lots of people. So as I mentioned, about 13 months of existence, we've spoken with approximately 60 individuals.
60 trans people who are.
So this video is getting kind of long, and I want to keep it short. But this video also talks about how they're brainwashing people into doing this stuff. How this fake LGBTQ movement is brainwashing people, and I think that Satan is behind it. But this part is going to be really disturbing, because another thing about these surgeries are there are so many complications, and people are left with these mutilated genitals, and hearing what they're saying about these complications makes you not want to talk about it. It makes you not want to think about it, because it's so fucking disturbing. It's absolutely disturbing to me thinking about what these people are left with down there.
That was me. Jazz has had a very difficult surgical course. She had a very incredible first surgery. It went seemingly very well, but there were problems.
Taking Jazz on as a patient for surgery, we knew it was going to be a one-of-a-kind surgery. She's one of the first to have undergone complete pubertal suppression. I was just not expecting her to have a complication as severe as what she did have.
The stitches started coming apart. How likely do you think that's going to happen again?
It's always possible.
And that's one of the things that kills me the most is like, okay, this is the one-of-kind of surgery. I can't believe we're doing this.
So, I'm just going to say it. They chopped her penis off. And now she's left with an open wound down there. Because let's be honest, like, why can't trans women be like these androgynous people like that we see on Pornhub? Like, why can't they be women with like fake tits, but they have their penis? If you look at the movie Pose 2 with all these trans people, there are people in that show that say they regret the surgery and that they like what makes them is that they have a penis, like they have their sexual organ. Imagine not being able to have sex the rest of your life because all you're left down there is an open wound. People need to think about this. In reality, what would that do to your psyche if you could never experience sex? Even for procreation. What would that do to somebody's psyche? Really think about this shit. So I'm going to be making way more videos on this explaining my reasoning, but this is what I always thought deep down about transgender people. And here is a trans person speaking out about what they actually think. And I want you guys to hear what this person has to say.
I am a detransitioning woman who began my social transition at 15 years old. I was told that my depression, anxiety, PTSD, OCD, and borderline would all go away if I transitioned, but it wasn't true. Starting at 17, high doses of testosterone were injected into my anorexic body. The side effects were severe, are permanent, and started within days. The damage from the testosterone is permanent, however, and I will not heal from it like I healed from my eating disorder. I am also suffering from chronic pain. On top of this, I lost my ability to sing. I cannot raise my voice to scream if I'm in danger. Testosterone silenced me. 1 year after starting hormones, my healthy breasts were removed. The surgery was incredibly traumatizing. My breasts have been incinerated, and I will never be able to feed my children.
In Prisha Mosley's case,
Damn, bitch. Damn. A lot of mental insanity, a lot of satanic kind of vibes going on, but these people need our love and compassion, and we need to start speaking out and defending these people, but also not allowing a whole new generation of kids to go down this insane transgender rabbit hole, because it is doing permanent, non-changeable damage to people, and these people are also just getting left behind because these evil people at the top don't want people to know the truth. So next time we will be getting into the WePath transgender scandal, and just, yeah, continuing to talk about how this has indoctrinated people my age, and I even know people who are straight that have penis and vagina who claim that they're LGBTQ. And then we'll also get into the hydrophiliacs, men that want to be women, and they just have this weird obsession with women. They don't actually they're not attracted to men. They just want to be women and sleep with other women. It's really, really strange. These things do exist. That's why the bathroom problem is a real thing. Even in sports, these things are real problems. So, hooga, booga, higa, hooga, hooga. Go outside in nature. Dinga, danga, danga, danga.